If they can do it, so can you. That was my greatest takeaway from attending Visions and Voices presented by San Diego Filipino Cinema on December 7th, 2019. Visions and Voices was a panel discussion highlighting 5 emerging Filipinx filmmakers. And as a Filipinx filmmaker myself, I learned a lot from each and every one of them. Instead of rambling on about my experience of the panel, I decided to describe what I learned from each filmmaker into one word. So before I get started, I will introduce each of the filmmakers, but I will go more into detail of their bios when I talk about what I learned from each of them. So the 5 filmmakers that were on the panel were Chrissie De Guzman, Drama del Rosario, Charles Gray, Rizzhel Javier, and Leah Lombos. So first up is Chrissie De Guzman. She is a writer-director, alum of USC Film School. Yes, very prestigious. She has a short film out called Thruple, which is out making festival rounds as we speak. And I am super inspired by her. I think it's mainly because we share 3 very distinct identities. She is Filipino, she is female, and she is queer, which I am. If you watch my channel, you know that about me. And the one word I chose to describe her, or what I learned from her, was decisiveness. And the reason I chose that was because just from hearing her talk about her experiences as a filmmaker and making her way through this industry is that she's a person that very much knows what she wants. She talked about how she first started out in film school pursuing production design, but somewhere along the way she made the decision to be a director and focus on directing instead. And I know that's a very daunting challenge because it's something that I went through. And as a director, it's very important to know what you want because everyone on set is looking to you for your vision, and like everyone's there to help you make your vision come to life. And if you don't know what you want, you're gonna have a very hard time telling the story that you set out to tell. So being decisive is very, very important. I also love that the biggest advice she gave to upcoming filmmakers, or people that want to go into film and telling stories for a living, is to stay in your lane. And what she meant by that is, and it kind of goes back to being very decisive, is knowing what you want and knowing where you want to go and not getting distracted by what other people are doing, because it's so easy to go into doom and gloom when you compare your path to others, but understanding that there's no one way to achieve success in this industry, or any industry really. You just have to keep your head down, know what you want, and go for it, and don't let anyone or anything stop you from that. So I'm very inspired. I hope to follow in her footsteps, so to speak. She is currently a MTV fellow, and I totally forgot about that fellowships thing, and she definitely encouraged that programs like that are made for people like me and minorities to get into the industry and to really fight for the representation that we all want. Next up is Drama del Rosario. He is also a big inspiration to me. He is also Filipino and also queer. So Drama is a documentary filmmaker, and he specializes in telling personal documentaries, so stories from his own point of view and retelling his own experiences. So the word I chose to describe him, or the lessons that I learned from him, is bold. What I discovered about Drama when he was talking about his experiences in this industry and going to film school and such is that he is a risk taker. One of the highlights is that he told us about how he got distribution for his very personal documentary, In This Family. He went to an audition for Filipino Big Brother in LA, and he had no intention of actually auditioning for the show. Instead, he just saw all the big players that were going to be in the room, and he made his decision oh, this is an opportunity for me to pitch my film and possibly get distribution, right? And that's exactly what he did. He went in, was just honestly, I'm not here to audition for the show, I'm here to pitch you my film. And lo and behold, he got distribution from one of the biggest distributors in the Philippines, which is huge, and it takes someone so bold to do that. I definitely don't know if I'd have the guts to do that myself. And another reason why I choose bold to describe who he is and what I took away when it comes to my own journey as a filmmaker is that it is important to be bold, and someone who's bold is confident and courageous, and I would definitely say that drama is just that. He is a documentary filmmaker. What's unique about him is though he tells very personal stories, so it's not just him interviewing someone else telling their story. I mean, he has done that. I think the one that has been out for a while is In This Family, where he talks about him coming out in a very Catholic traditional Filipino home, which is not an easy thing to do, and just telling that story of the acceptance that his parents had to learn over the years. And his upcoming film, I'm Not Okay and Neither Are You, highlights the issues of sexual assault and mental health through the lens of a gay couple. And it takes one very courageous person to do that, an artist to do that, because it's such a vulnerable thing to share those types of stories on camera, and I just respect that like so much. And someone who recently has really gotten more interested in becoming a documentary director, I respect that. And also just being on YouTube, obviously this is a very personal thing, so I respect someone who can get in the front of camera and retell things that are really hard to share with people in your life, let alone strangers. So all the respect to drama for that. The next filmmaker on the panel was Charles Gray, and he is also a director. He describes himself as an auteur on his Instagram, at least. I don't know if that's a joke or not, but if anything, I would actually say he is, because I actually got to see his film Following Jamie at the San Diego Filipino Cinema's Magic Hour, and it was told, at least the first half of the film was told through Instagram stories, and that's really not something I've seen before. So in that way, yeah, it's very auteur of him to do that. Anyways, back to what I gained from him from the panel. The word I used to describe Charles and what he taught me was community, the importance of community. And the reason I say that is because a lot of his answers revolved around his experiences on set, working with others, and just how important it is to find your people when it comes to filmmaking. You can't make films on your own. I mean, you can, but it's a lot more difficult and a lot less fun. So the sooner you can find people that not only you can work with, but are supportive of your craft and the stories you want to tell, the better. And it just makes it so much easier and so much more enjoyable, the experience of filmmaking, because it's hard. And he's also a shining example of community, because he is actually the executive director of Film Creative, which is an organization located in LA. And the organization just really advocates for representation of Filipinos and career advancement of Filipino creatives through collaboration. And that's awesome. Like, I was president of my film club at San Diego State, and I very much believe in community and believe in just fostering a community where you can collaborate and find your people, as I said. Next up is Rizzhel Javier. Rizzhel is an educator and filmmaker, and I really resonated with her story because she is a first generation Filipino American, and I personally am a second generation Filipino American, and a lot of her work has to do with finding her own connection to her Filipino identity, which is also something I've struggled with, just being second generation and never been to the Philippines. I don't speak the language, so as proud as I am to be Filipino and to be Filipino American, I think even now at 25, I'm still struggling to answer for myself, like, what does it mean to be Filipino to me? And her work definitely, again, explores that through her own family history and family memories, and I really respected that. So the word I use to describe Rizzhel and what she taught me is historic. Her projects really do go into curating her own family photos and footage of her home videos of her family and of her grandma, because she realized that once she lost a grandparent, she only really had one left. So it's all the more important to document the stories that her grandmother had to tell. And again, I really relate to that because I personally lost my grandma 2 years ago, and thankfully my brother and I had the chance to interview both our paternal and maternal grandparents, and we just knew that it was important because it was, and not to get so morbid, but one day we wouldn't be able to sit down and have those conversations, and to be able to get it on film and be able to watch it back and just hear their voice and hear them talk about their childhood and growing up and moving to the US. It's priceless. And I definitely know for me, the interview that I have with my grandma who passed, it means so much. Oh, I didn't mean to get emotional during this part. It means so much to me because we were also able to share it with my mom and my aunties and my cousins, and we will always have that little piece of her, and we'll always get to hear her voice and hear her talk about, you know, her experiences growing up, and again, coming here and, you know, giving us a chance to be Filipino Americans. And that's so important. And I think just as a Filipino in general, especially living in the US, you don't really get to hear about Filipino history, and, you know, you don't find it in textbooks. So at least the very least you can do is learn about your own history, your own family history. Because I personally, the only way I feel super connected to my Filipino identity, Filipino heritage, is through my grandparents. So if I can get them on film and have them even talk about just what it was like growing up in the Philippines, again, priceless. And last but certainly not least is Leah Lombos. Leah is a writer-director, located here in San Diego. She is just about to graduate from film school, I believe. The word I used to describe Leah and what I took away from her experiences was authenticity. After the panel, there actually was a showcase of a couple films. They showed Drama's documentary, In This Family, and they showed Leah's film, Kain Na, which means let's eat. Sorry if that sounded terrible, because I don't speak Tagalog. Anyways, her film is about a mother-daughter relationship. I won't spoil it, because it's about to hit the festival circuit. But anyways, I cried. That film made me cry, and just to let you know something about me, I don't cry during films. Even as a filmmaker, you would think I'm so much more of a staff. It takes a lot for me to cry during a film, and I cried during Kain Na. Just because that story really resonated with me, and it really reflected an experience in my life. And that's powerful. I think it's one thing to be entertained by a film, but to really feel like in your gut a film, that's magic. That's magic, and Leah definitely accomplished that. But anyways, going back to authenticity, when it comes to her, and what I learned from her and her experiences was that you just need to stay true to your story and stay true to yourself when you are making such personal films. It's so easy to get influenced by someone else who doesn't know really what your vision is and why you want to tell a certain story. So it's so important to kind of stand your ground and be like, no, this is the story I'm telling, or this is the character I want to portray, and just staying true to that to the very end, because films are like babies that you raise, and so many people want to tell you how to raise it or how to make it, but at the end of the day, again, the mark of a great director is just knowing the story that you want to tell and staying true to that, tried and true. Super important, and I love that about her and her work. Again, I respect it when something is so personal and you're willing to share it, not only with the people around you, but with the world, essentially. Anyways, just to wrap this up, again, going back to the biggest takeaway is inspiration through representation. Just hearing these filmmakers talk about their experiences and what is upcoming for them, it just really reinforced that this is all possible for me too. Again, the reason why representation is so important is that it's so powerful to see yourself in the hero, to see people that look like you, that have similar upbringing, similar experiences from you, achieve things that you hope to achieve, or similar things that you hope to achieve. It just makes all the possibilities seem more real and more accessible. Representation equals access. One of the biggest reasons why I want to make films and I'm here on YouTube is just to show others that they have a voice and that they can bring their visions to life. You see what I did there? Lastly, I just want to thank San Diego Filipino Cinema for putting on this event. Benito and Emma, I don't know if I've told you or Adrian has told you, but we consider you our film parents. And again, we have enjoyed attending all of the San Diego Filipino Cinema events, but we hope in the next year we get to help you guys out a little bit more and volunteer and give our time and give back. wherever it's needed. And I think I just want to leave you all with this. I think the only thing better than inspiration is turning that inspiration into action. So with that being said, I'm putting this out there in the universe. I hope to write and direct 2 films. I also have a docuseries that I've been talking about making. I just haven't sat down and, gotten serious about it. 2020 is my year to bring my vision to life and to find my voice, and to also set the intention. Hopefully one day, Chrissy, Charles, Drama, Leah, Rizzhel, maybe we get to work together, or I see you at a festival, or I find myself on a panel with one or more of you. That's definitely something I hope happens in the future, because Filipinos gotta represent. All right, I think that's enough talking and reflecting, and I've set my attention. Now it's time to get to work, because filmmaking is hard. But yeah, gotta go do it.